So I, 28 female, am 30 weeks pregnant with my first child and am about to move to another state. Mom has this thing where she takes care of my siblings when they give birth until they recover. She did it for my older sister and my brother's wife, so I thought she'd do the same thing with me too. But a week ago she told me she couldn't because it was too far away. We got into a fight about the whole thing and I told her to get out of my house, and now we're not talking. Before you judge me and say that my mom isn't obligated to take care of me, I will tell you that it isn't about mom taking care of me. It never was about that. I'm that one child in the family whom nobody really cares about. My parents always claim that they love and treat us all equally, but man, is it obvious that they love me a little bit less than the others. I always thought that maybe I'm adopted and that's why they don't care about me that much. Well, I'm wrong because I'm 100% theirs. It's always about how my other siblings are doing or how mom and dad are suffering, but it's never about me. It was never about me from the beginning. I'm rarely celebrated, even if it's supposed to be my day. My birthdays? They rarely celebrated because mom and dad forgot, or they just threw everything in the house and called it a birthday. High school graduation party? Nope. My parents had already wasted a lot of money for my big brother's college graduation party, so they couldn't do that, but they will make sure to make it up to me. Do you think that ever happened? I'll give you a minute or two. If you guessed no, then congrats, you guessed right. Yay! They shared the wedding expenses of my siblings' weddings, but since my husband came from a good family, they don't have to share wedding expenses. Not my words. I've always been the therapist who listens to my mom and dad about their rough day, or the one who needs to help mom because my older siblings have a lot of schoolwork to do, or because my younger siblings are too young to do that kind of work. They always tell me that I'm a good daughter, but I'm never the one they brag about to their friends. I did everything possible to make them proud, but my achievements will always be below my siblings. I've tried to talk to them about how I feel multiple times before, but I only get a hard scolding about how I was getting spoiled. I hated my life until I left that house, but I never dared to let go of them, thinking that they would change. Well, my mom just proved me wrong. Mind you that my older sister lives a whole ocean away from us, but mom decided that taking a 10-hour-plus flight to another continent twice was not hard at all, but all of a sudden, taking a 4-hour ride to my home was too much, especially when I'm in a place where I don't know anyone except my husband. I'm so angry at them putting everyone else above me. So I will make things right between us until I leave because I don't want to end things on a sour note. And when I get to my new house, I'll just cut all contact between us. I don't think that I have the energy to do all of this crap anymore, and besides, I have my lovely husband with me, so I'll be alright and build myself a new family where I'm truly appreciated and loved for who I am. So, am I the idiot if I disown my parents after my mom refused to take care of me after I gave birth? Note, I'm the third out of 5 children. My younger siblings are twins. Not the idiot. Yes, I agree with you. Make nice with your mom while you're visiting and minimize contact when you return to your home. It could be that your mother wants you to beg and plead, "Oh, mummy, pretty please, come help me, I need you." But my reaction is, forget that game playing. Put your energy into your husband and build a new support network where you all live now. And then tell her you can't keep in touch, it's too far away. Wait, you're only 4 hours? I was thinking you're talking about the other side of the country or something. My God, wild horses wouldn't keep me away, and I'm so sorry they're ruining this for you. Put them on a strict information diet. Save yourself the hurt and focus on yourself and your pregnancy, and don't worry, your partner and child will be all the family you need. I, 28 female, recently got engaged and have been at my current job for over 2 years. I love my job and feel honoured to do it, but one downside is that we're needed 365 days a year, so it's common to work on holidays. The general rule is that new individuals are first in line to work on Thanksgiving and Christmas. There's also an informal expectation that individuals without kids will cover those shifts so parents can celebrate with their families. People at work especially seem to care about moms being home with their children. I'm scheduled to work on Christmas this year but get Thanksgiving off. This is my first holiday off since I've been on the job, so I'm very excited. One of my co-workers, June, was in the same hiring class as me. She's a few years older because she started grad school late and is married with 2 young kids. On Friday, she approached me and asked if I'd be willing to cover her shift on Thanksgiving so she could celebrate with her kids. I was a bit upset since I've been looking forward to celebrating with my family, fiancé and future in-laws this year. As I mentioned, I just got engaged and this is the first time our families are doing a blended holiday. I explained the situation to June and she said that her daughters deserve to have their mom with them on Thanksgiving. I suggested celebrating the holiday on a later date with her family because I wasn't going to be covering for her. June was annoyed and said I was breaking the office's informal code. I spoke to my mentor about this. She's in her 50s and has kids, and she thinks I should have agreed to cover for June so her kids could be with their mother on Thanksgiving. I said that the expectation wasn't fair since June was the one who decided to have kids and also chose an intense line of work where she sometimes had to work holidays. Additionally, it's unfair that individuals who choose not to have children are penalised for the decisions of others and are expected always to work holidays. She asked me to take a step back and realise it's not about being fair to June or me, but doing what's right for the kids who already don't get to see their mother as often as they'd like because she's serving our country. She said I may think about it differently if I chose to have kids one day. When I decide to have kids, I won't expect my co-workers to pay the price for that decision. My job is certainly a public service, and the institution prides itself on doing what's best for the country rather than for ourselves. I'm all right about sacrificing my time to help the general public, but also I don't think I should be pressured into working every holiday so my co-workers can be with the kids they brought into this world. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Screw June. Instead of being grateful she has Christmas, she wants more. And at your expense. Being a mama doesn't allow you to take everybody else's time. This is your manager's problem to fix, not yours. Don't feel guilty. What a stupid rule. Penalised for not having kids? What will be the case for a couple who can't have kids? Shoved in her face every year that she's not worthy? Yeah, and what about your mom? Doesn't she deserve to have her child at Thanksgiving? Co-worker procreation habits are not your problem. Who has kids should not even be considered at work. Enjoy your scheduled vacation day and your first blended holiday with your fiancé, in-laws and family. Nobody gets to decide that their family is more important than your own. I, 35 male, have been married to my wife, 32, Ella, for 10 years. We have 2 kids, a preschool male and a pre-tween female. About 5 years ago, our house was finally built. Ella was the one who actually designed our house. We have a loft area above our living room that Ella said was going to be a kids' area. Out of sight, out of mind, she said, for the kids' toys. Ella also suffers from depression, and a lot of the house projects she hoped would be done by now aren't. Personally, I think she's too hard on herself, and I do help as much as I can, but I also work 60 to 70 hours a week. Ella has been using the loft area as a reading area. Honestly, I'm not too sure how much she uses it. I know she reads a bit, but mostly when I see her read, it's in bed. Ella has been hard on herself lately because the kids' toys are scattered everywhere, so I decided while she was out to have the kids take everything up into the loft area and put all her stuff into her gaming room. We both have our separate gaming rooms. The kids love this area, and in the time they've been playing up there, I've seen no toys. Ella came home and started crying, saying that it was her safe haven away from everyone and that it had been really short with me. She claims that she goes up there every day, but now she can't just take it away from the kids. I told her she could make her gaming room into a reading room, but she says the kids go in there and it's not the same. I told her she was overreacting, and this is exactly what she wanted this area for. So, am I the idiot? Edit, my wife isn't neglecting our children by giving herself time to do her activities. As for our preschooler, our neighbour watches him about 2 to 5 hours a day. We pay them so my wife can bake for her business and just do whatever she wants. You each have a gaming room? When my kids were young, I barely had time to shave my legs, let alone game and read. However, you are the idiot. You made a unilateral decision without consulting the person who's supposed to be your partner. I understand that there was prior communication about the loft being for the kids, but I also understand the need to have an escape when you're the default parent. Your wife sounds overwhelmed, and I know that feeling well. Not the idiot. Why can't she close the door to her game room and tell the kids not to go in? There's no reason for her to need a game space and loft, and the kids have no dedicated space at all. Ask if she would rather have her game room be the loft, move her stuff all there and make the game room the kids' room. I hope she's being treated for her depression. Update, I hear you all. I should have 100% communicated with her. I also found out she hadn't used her gaming room in months, so I took away her favourite spot in the house. So we'll be moving the kids' stuff into her old gaming room, and I'll make a shelf so she can organise all her books up there. I, 25 female, live with my sister, Emily, 27, her husband Connor, 25, and their son Owen, young toddler male, for a variety of reasons, none of which are relevant to this story. The other night, my boyfriend Marcus, 26 male, came to hang out and some athletic snuggling ensued. After Marcus had left, I heard the baby crying. I ended up in the hallway with Emily and Connor after Owen had been put back to sleep. Emily had asked if Marcus was still in my room and I told her no, he'd left. Connor says, "Thank God I could hear you downstairs with my noise-cancelling headphones on." I was reasonably embarrassed that he'd heard anything and even more mortified that he'd said that in front of my sister. I apologised and hoped that was the end of it. As Emily goes back downstairs, Connor turns to me and says, "Don't be sorry, now I have something to think about." I tried to brush it off, as Connor often makes inappropriate remarks, and I've always ignored him. I jokingly said, "Don't you mean you'll be thinking about Marcus?" And he responded, "Nah, Marcus is too quiet, I didn't hear him, I only heard you." Connor then goes back downstairs and I retreat to my bedroom. I couldn't stop thinking about what he'd said and how uncomfortable it made me, so I texted Marcus to ask if I was overreacting. Marcus was absolutely furious. He wanted me to tell Emily, but I was hesitant, as I didn't want to make Emily and Connor fight. I told him I'd talk to her in the morning, hoping it would blow over and Marcus would forget about it, but he texted Emily. Emily then came into my room and I started crying, saying that Connor's comment had bothered me, but I didn't want to make it a big deal. Emily said she would talk to Connor about it in the morning and make him apologise. I told her it didn't matter and it wasn't a big deal. Still, she insisted that he needed to apologise for it, especially since he'd made inappropriate comments before and knew they made me uncomfortable. The next day I could tell that something was tense between Emily and Connor, but I came home late and didn't interact with them much. Right before I went to bed, Emily asked me if Connor had apologised, and I told her I hadn't even talked to him, so no. Today I heard Connor and Emily arguing downstairs, but I couldn't understand what they were saying. Eventually Connor storms upstairs and I hear him say, "No, I'm not going to. It's not my fault that none of you can take a joke." I know they were talking about Wednesday night. I knew Emily would be upset, but I didn't know Marcus would be so angry, and I didn't know it would cause this giant fight between Emily and Connor. Am I the idiot for saying anything at all? He's angry you didn't flirt back. He's angry he got caught. Not the idiot, but your sister deserves a husband who doesn't want to sleep with her sister. Time to move out? Right, he's just mad that his joke backfired on him and that his wife is angry. If I were Emily, I'd be rethinking everything. But clearly this is his norm and her sister accepts it, but thank God she's at least putting her foot down for OP. I foresee many more issues for Emily in the future. He needs to be held accountable. Calling it a joke is just an excuse for creepy behaviour. Every year, my 35 male wife and I rotate whose family we go to for Thanksgiving. One year mine, the next year hers. This year is due to be with my family. Typically, my parents host. This year, my sister, 29, and husband asked to host and my parents okayed it. I declined and caused an uproar. I've been called an idiot, rude, etc. My sister loves animals, and well, I don't. I rarely go to her house, and when I do, it's without my wife and kids. I find the fact she lets her cats into the kitchen and on the counters really gross. Her dog is super obnoxious and not all that well behaved. It'll jump on you and that type of stuff. I wouldn't say it's dangerous, just annoying. When the news about who's hosting came to me, I discussed it with my wife and said, "Let's go to your families," and my wife was good with that. I let my parents know and they said I was overreacting. They love her dog, so in my opinion they have a distorted viewpoint. The news made it to my sister and she wasn't happy. I told her we could come if the animals stayed in another room and didn't come out at all, and I could clean the kitchen. She said I could clean all I wanted, but that was a disrespectful request to her family. I told her that her pets are not family to me and I don't want to spend time with them. I've left it because I'm not going to my sister's, but my sister and parents are upset with my decision. You are the idiot. Not because of your decision, but because you have absolutely zero tact. All you had to say was that you were changing the schedule because of some compelling, if invented, reason to go to your in-laws. And if there's too much contact between the families for that to work, you could have said this: "My family is just not comfortable around pets, so we're going to switch the holiday rotation this year." Asking your sister to gate off her pets and to let you clean her kitchen yourself was vile. If you were a 10-year-old boy raised by wolves, that would be a ridiculous thing to say. But according to your post, you are a grown man. So he's an idiot because he was honest instead of lying? I swear most people would rather hear a lie than hear the truth, and you just proved it. He's not wrong to acknowledge that having animals in the kitchen is nasty, it just is. I wouldn't want to eat food that came from a nasty kitchen with pet hair in it either. But hey, I guess that's just me, the OP, and other rational people who don't mind telling and hearing the truth. I'm going with not the idiot. You're allowed to decline an invitation. Period. They asked for a reason for giving one, and they didn't like it. Oh well, you're allowed to have feelings and opinions, and they are allowed not to like them. I don't understand your family's outcry of idiocy or some commenters, because if my aunt had told my mother something similar, my mother would have just shrugged or rolled her eyes and said, "Okay, see you another time."